Hello, anybody who's watching this. Welcome to my reaction to Consumed by the Apocalypse by Lemina. And I did one video on Lemina before, and I received... It wasn't received well, but I want to do it with this one, which is their newest video, even though it's been 5 months, but it's their newest video apart from the... like a 4 million special Q&A, something like that. And also... it's a good choice for me. Because it's about apocalypse, I want to die, and impending doom is something I crave. I also like post-apocalyptic games, but that's besides the point. Really? You just ate. Don't eat me. Ow! Stop. Alright? Now, if you have a video for me to react to, you can use the donation link in the description below, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. You can also leave it in the comments, but I might not get to the actual to record the actual reaction if you leave it in the comments, because I'm not obligated. Does that make me sound like a ow, like an asshole? Go away! Don't come back! Ow! Anyway, I didn't plug my headphones in. Anyway. My shoulder hurts, I have to lay down on my back.
Of all the species to have ever lived, all but a tiny fraction have gone extinct.
Tiny, really?
At some point in the future, the same fate will befall humanity.
Oh, but a tiny fraction. Yeah.
It may take centuries, it might take eons, but extinction is unavoidable.
Not necessarily.
The future is fraught with uncertainty.
Evolution
and the
could
apocalypse never seems too far away.
Like, maybe we meet aliens and then we'll start interact. What are you doing? What is that? Uh-oh. Where is that from? Oh, great. I guess I'm that fat. I broke my chair. And this is a part of a wheel. Cool. I had it for 6 months. Fantastic. Fuck. I won't say we might find the aliens or aliens find us and we can interact with them and then maybe create a hybrid and continue to live on like that. Chance is low, but it is a possibility. The comet, what is that? Hey. Don't do it. Back to this. Cosmic threats.
Nearly 800,000 years ago,
Ow.
an approximately 1 kilometer wide asteroid collided with Earth.
Okay.
The crater has yet to be located, but fragments from the impact have been found scattered across the eastern hemisphere, an expansive strewn field that covers up to 30% of the planet's surface.
Okay.
Our distant ancestors were not only alive to witness this event, but managed to adapt and survive. Impacts of this magnitude occur roughly once every 500,000 to 2 million years. More devastating impacts.
So I'm guessing it's 1 kilometer after it went through the atmosphere. So it was bigger before it entered the atmosphere and some part of it got burned. And like it's
the one that
bigger,
nearly
right?
wiped out the dinosaurs are far less frequent.
Hey.
Possibly striking once every 100 million years.
Possibly, yeah.
Whether a collision of this magnitude is survivable is a matter of debate.
No. It's my part of the wheel. You're not getting it. Mine. Stop biting me. Look at the wheel. Look at the wheel.
The kinetic energy released upon impact would be equivalent to the simultaneous detonation of billions of atomic bombs.
Yeah.
Those who survived the initial blast would be subjected to unrelenting earthquakes, firestorms, and tsunamis.
Shut.
A thick layer of smoke and dust
I'm
would
sorry for the
quickly
light, by the
envelop
way. I
globe
still don't have a
and
light
blot
bulb.
out the sun.
Ow! Go
An
away.
impact winter that could last for months or even years.
And like nuclear winter, which is pretty much the same thing.
Darkness,
Just from
freezing
different
cold,
cause.
and global famine would throw the world into chaos. In spite of this,
my
long-term
head.
survival is not inconceivable. Small pockets of humanity may take refuge underground
Really?
and would
You
at least
think?
be given a chance to rebuild
This you attacked
civilization.
the thing, not me.
But
Now you're
make no
fighting.
mistake, it would be
Ow.
a close call.
Stop! No, just stop! No, no, you stop that.
The
No, you don't touch
survivability of an
the... No,
impact
put it
also
down.
depends on how much time we have to prepare.
There's your tail. Nope, tail.
More than 90% of nearby asteroids and comets larger than 1 kilometer have already been detected.
That's a
If
lot
one
of...
them were on
That's
a
all of
collision
them.
course with Earth, we'd know
Okay.
for decades or even centuries in advance. But
Sure.
this was not always the case.
Ow.
In
Stop.
1983, a 9-kilometer wide comet was only spotted 2 weeks prior to its closest approach. That's 2 weeks of preparation had it been aiming for Earth.
Ow!
While
Stop.
things have significantly
Stop.
improved since 1983, space is impossibly vast. In
Yeah.
2019, an asteroid capable of leveling a city was detected a day before it flew 5 times closer to the Earth than the Moon.
Stop. Here. Ow!
While the odds of an extinction-level collision
You beat
are
my
remote,
nose. No, no.
not
Release
impossible.
me. What?
are remote, it's not impossible.
Yeah.
There is a class of objects known as Damocloids.
Oh, I never
Damocloids are
heard.
typified
Okay.
by their highly eccentric orbits
Can you
and
stop?
low reflectivity, meaning
Can
they
you?
periodically pay us a visit
Stop.
and are extremely difficult to detect. We're currently tracking about 200, but there could be hundreds more
I missed what that
tumbling through the
means.
solar system. Their highly eccentric orbits
Uh-huh.
and low reflectivity,
Oh.
meaning they periodically pay us a visit and are extremely difficult to detect.
Stop. Stop that.
We're currently
Stop.
tracking about
Stop.
200, but there could be hundreds more tumbling through the solar system.
Well, I guess if they're hard to detect, they could be
Damocloids are, on
much more than that
average,
even.
16 kilometers
Stop.
wide.
Stop.
If one of them were on a collision course with Earth, there might not be any warning.
Stop. Stay there. In the cage. Maybe like a cat carrier? So I can look him up sometimes.
When massive stars die, they explode.
Yeah, supernova. Become a new, I guess that's supernova, right? If it's relatively actually young.
If a star went supernova within 30 light years of Earth,
Yeah,
it would be cause for concern.
30 light years, okay.
Fortunately, more than 90% of the stars within this bubble
Shut.
have already been discovered,
What?
none of which are at risk of exploding anytime soon.
Hey,
But some
supernova
supernovae
exploding.
can
Ah,
still
God
pose a
damn it.
threat from thousands of light years away.
Stop. Stop. Tail. Eat.
It's a gamma-ray burst, produced by only the most
We're
violent
gonna become
explosions
Hulks.
in the universe.
But probably die.
Instead of a spherical
die.
blast, a gamma-ray burst will channel the explosion into 2 highly concentrated beams. More energy is released in a few seconds than the sun will radiate in its entire lifetime.
Well, until it hits supernova, it does the same. Right? Which is 5, what's it, million? Billion years?
The biological
happens.
effects of a nearby supernova or gamma-ray burst are poorly understood.
Yeah,
we do know
because
that the
it's never happened.
atmosphere
We
would
can study
absorb
it,
much
but-
of the high-energy radiation, but this may also strip the Earth of its protective layer
Yes,
of ozone.
that's what I was thinking.
If so, harmful levels of ultraviolet radiation from the sun would penetrate down to the surface. Certain chemical reactions may also darken the sky
Stop.
and induce global cooling, a cosmic winter of sorts.
Stoop.
This could last for years
Cosmic winter.
and
Oh.
will be lethal
I'm
to
learning
many
new
plants and
terms. I only
animals.
thought knew about
In fact,
nuclear
a
one
gamma
before.
ray burst might be responsible for a mass extinction that killed roughly 70% of all marine species nearly 500 million years ago.
Okay.
Now, humanity could easily protect itself against ultraviolet sun rays, but living through a mass extinction would not be a pleasant experience. While some authors have painted a far bleaker image, with one hemisphere effectively sterilized by intense radiation, these findings have been contested in recent years.
Okay.
The latest research identifies ozone depletion as the primary threat. Nevertheless, a gamma ray burst sniping the Earth from across the galaxy is extremely improbable. All of them have so far been extragalactic in origin, much too distant to pose a threat.
Thank you.
While there are a few potential candidates within the Milky Way, none of them appear to be directed at Earth.
Okay. So that's a very low chance of happening.
Apart from impact events and stellar explosions, the foreseeable future is free of cosmic threats. Other eventualities are either too improbable or won't happen for millions of years. Ample time.
Let me read. Doesn't cover with another star. In 1.3 million years, the star Galaxy will graze the outer solar system. Ow! Stop that! You little shit! Run! Our solar system, it may perturb the Oort cloud and fleeing comets towards the Earth. Evolution of the Sun, 1-2 billion years. The increased luminosity of the Sun will evaporate the oceans and render the Earth uninhabitable. But is that what I read about, or is it 1-2 it's gonna evolve, but in 5 it's gonna supernova, or maybe I don't know. I also possibly read something old, and now it's like 1-2 billion years instead of whatever it said there. Anyway, collision with a rogue planet or black hole virtually impossible due to vastness of space. Yeah, probably black hole is more impossible. Maybe just, I don't know. Extraterrestrial invasion, science fiction until it isn't. Bullshit, they're real, and they're not Among Us, but they're not the game. Oh, fuck, I hate that. I can't say Among Us without thinking about the game. God damn. End of the universe. In the distant future, the universe itself may come to an end. Exactly how or when is a matter of debate. Well, not in our lifetime, that's for sure.
To prepare, other calamities permitting.
Supervolcano. Terrestrial threats. Supervolcanic eruptions, yes, I was correct.
Around 74,000 years ago, a large volcano erupted in Southeast Asia.
Relatively not
that long ago. It is the most powerful volcanic eruption in human history.
October, the caldera formed by eruption crater.
For up to 2 weeks, it spewed enormous quantities of ash and dust into the atmosphere, enough to block out the sun and potentially cool the planet. A volcanic winter.
For fuck's sake.
But there's great uncertainty about the effects of the eruption on both the climate and humanity.
Stop playing with the newspapers.
From severe to mild, with the latest research supporting the latter.
Oh, really?
In either case, this is good news.
Yeah.
It means that supervolcanic eruptions pose little to no threat to human existence. After all, if early humans stood a chance, then so should we.
I guess.
But there is something even more destructive than supervolcanic eruptions.
Tectonic plates
or something? It's known
as
a flood basalt event.
Okay.
The largest one occurred 250 million years ago.
Okay.
An enormous outpouring of molten rock covered a region of Siberia the size of Europe. And it just so happens to coincide with the deadliest mass extinction in history.
Ooh.
The good news is, flood basalt events are both rare and slow. Instead of a singular event, it's a series of eruptions taking place over thousands or even millions of years.
Oh,
As
okay.
such, even if one began tomorrow, it might just be slow enough for us to adapt and survive.
Even if it happens over a course of like 1,000,000 years, then humans are possibly would be able to evolve naturally to be able to just continue living after it all of it happens. If it happens much less than 1,000,000 years, the technology would be there to help us continue living. So yeah, because of the timing, it could be not much of a threat. Natural pandemics. I don't know what you're talking about.
Throughout the centuries, pandemics have exacted a heavy toll on
No,
humankind.
1345. Yeah,
Among
okay.
the worst,
I wonder
was
what
the
happened.
Black Death.
Oh no,
In less
no
than
way.
a decade, it killed between 25 and 60% of the European population.
Oh, it's
total
unknown.
death count
That's
is
like a
unknown.
1/3.
At least tens of millions. The Colombian exchange of diseases and the Spanish flu claimed the lives of many millions more.
Estimates it vary greatly. So Black Death. After that was Columbian exchange, smallpox, measles, typhus, and many others. Okay, from 15th to 17th, 55 million, and the Spanish flu, influenza. Well, that's actually happened 100 years ago. So, like it's let's say 17 Black Death and 55, and then 100 if we're gonna go negative on it. Okay. Like what we're living right now, it is a pandemic, but it's not even close to any of these. Still
the tragedy
sucks,
of these
but
pandemics and epidemics
could have been much worse.
notwithstanding, they never came close to extinction. None of them killed more than a few percent of the global population.
Yeah.
For instance, the Spanish flu infected nearly 1/3 of humanity, yet the vast majority of cases did not result in death.
Same as
A pathogen that
coronavirus.
not only infects but also kills every single member of a species is difficult to imagine. In fact, there are very few examples of infectious disease driving a species to extinction.
I feel like if Black Death happened now, like that kind of plague, that would have been a big chance of wiping, maybe not everybody, but a big portion, because it's much easier to travel to distant lands. And especially, it's been a long time, so we don't know exactly how it happened, but possibly there could be a person who doesn't have symptoms, the same as corona, like doesn't have symptoms, but he's a carrier, so he could have traveled like from one continent to another and just spreading it accidentally. Who knows?
With that being said,
Maybe
it's
I'm just
not
an idiot, I don't know.
inconceivable. For instance, pathogens that can pass between multiple species can be far deadlier than those limited to just one.
Yes.
The H5N1 avian influenza, also known as the
Bird
bird
flu,
flu,
yeah.
is one such virus. So far, it's transmissible between humans and birds.
That's, if I'm not wrong, that's also one of the things that the Black Death had, right? Which is that the rats could get affected, and because they can just run fast and go under things, like because they're quite fuckers, they were spreaders of Black Death.
But it can't sustainably spread among humans. However, laboratory experiments have shown that it may eventually acquire this ability through natural mutations.
Yeah, that's
If
also
so,
a thing for
it
diseases.
could easily become the worst pandemic in human history.
Case fatality rate maybe
But even
60%.
this horrifying proposition does not come close
53 is
to
more
extinction.
plausible. Okay.
In a worst-case scenario, most of humanity would still survive.
One estimate found that the death toll of initial pandemic could reach 1.7 billion. It says up to 60. If 60 would, I guess, because some people will not get infected at all. Yeah, okay. Never mind. Look how nice the world is without humans. Ah, fuck off.
Pandemics are complicated. It's a topic that's more relevant now than ever before and cannot possibly be done justice in a few short minutes.
Yeah.
But in the narrow context of human extinction, it seems unlikely for nature to stumble upon that perfect storm.
Unless...
Apart from volcanic eruptions and natural pandemics, the Earth has no inherent means of eradicating the human race. No other form of natural calamity is powerful enough to threaten our existence.
Yeah, sure.
As such, the most immediate threat to humanity
Climate change?
has for a long time been, and continues to be, humanity.
If climate change happens, like, rapidly, there will be a lot of tsunamis. Could that be possible for a full-on annihilation of the society?
While nature may struggle to devise a world-ending pandemic, it may not have to. Biotechnology has now advanced to a point where we can engineer pathogens in a laboratory.
That's true. Biological weapons.
While this can greatly benefit our understanding and treatment of infectious diseases, it's not without risk. Accidental breaches of containment have happened on multiple occasions, and these experiments are not always conducted in the name of science. These engineered microbes are concerning because their destructive potential far exceeds that of their natural counterparts. They can be deadlier, more transmissible, and less treatable. And the rapid pace of technological progress is constantly lowering the threshold for bioengineering.
His biggest concern was, he said it in so many words, that a small group of dedicated scientists could create an altered biological agent that could wipe out humanity as we know it.
Technically speaking, you can do almost anything with a microbe. The real question is, will you end up with a microbe that functionally will do the things that the concerned person at your hearing said, namely, essentially wipe out everyone from the face of the earth? Again, that's conceivable, although it's inconceivable, but it is, in fact, anything is possible. It would be very, very difficult to do that, extraordinarily difficult, even in the best of hands, to not only do the engineering to get a microbe that has the characteristics, but be able to spread in a way in which it has virulence, transmissibility, and the ability to go in a sustained, transmissible way. Not impossible, but very, very difficult to do.
Oh, okay. Nuclear holocaust. Will be nuclear winter. Come on, another winter to put this video. Oh, look at the sun rising. Yep. That's about right. Missile Bravo, the most powerful nuclear device ever detonated.
A nuclear holocaust is among the most...
But again, not the most powerful device detonated ever, because Russia got you beat. Fuck. With a Tsar bomba. Or Tsar bomb, whatever you prefer.
Most infamous doomsday scenarios.
Shut. Why?
Since the end of World War II, we have on numerous occasions been driven to the brink of nuclear conflict. Sometimes by accident, sometimes by very intentional brinkmanship.
Don't touch the mic, don't touch the mic, you little shit.
The nuclear stockpile currently stands at more than 13,000 warheads, the vast majority of which are owned by Russia and the United States. In the event of an all-out nuclear war, these thousands of bombs could instantly vaporize hundreds of millions.
Don't come back.
But the explosions are only the beginning. The real danger of a nuclear conflict is the aftermath.
Yes.
Much like an impact event or supervolcanic eruption, a thick layer of smoke and dust would quickly envelop
Welcome
the
back.
globe.
Ow.
A nuclear winter.
There it
Not only
is.
blocks
Yeah,
out
we
the
got it,
sun,
boys.
but showers the world in radioactive fallout.
Okay, finally not coming back.
Firestorms, radiation poisoning, and mass starvation could easily claim the lives of billions. However, because humanity is not evenly distributed across the planet, some regions would be less affected than others. Island nations like New Zealand, for instance, are all but certain to survive.
Are they though?
While the effects of a
If Australia would be nuked, is New Zealand gonna survive?
nuclear holocaust are almost too dismal to contemplate, it is not typically regarded as an existential
Like
threat.
whatever cities on that side of the Australia, that's on that side of the continent.
Artificial intelligence has had a profound impact on modern society.
Indeed.
From self-driving cars and virtual assistants to social media algorithms and facial recognition.
Yeah.
But some experts are concerned about the future. A future in which intelligent machines become more intelligent than humans. The concern is not so much about evil robots as it is about misalignment. A misaligned intelligence is one that's not properly aligned with human goals and values. A system that becomes dangerous not due to any malicious intent, but due to an oversight in its programming. An unforeseen loophole that allows it to do things it was never intended to do.
Stop.
If such an entity was sufficiently intelligent, it could become unstoppable. Another concern is known as the intelligence explosion. It's a machine that can upgrade itself and thereby increase its own intelligence at an exponential rate. Moments after creating such a system, it could far surpass the combined intelligence of...
How about a machine, a war machine, like an AI made for war, but there's an accidental error in the code that makes it go rogue, and that machine is able to recreate itself, and it also gets fuel from just organic matter on the planet. Is that a thing? Is that being said here? I definitely did not hear it in the game, and if you know what I'm talking about, leave it in the comments, please.
Of all humans that have ever lived. Such an entity may have little to no regard for human affairs.
Yeah.
Not unlike humanity's disregard for species less intelligent than us. With that being said...
Well, unlike humans, like it was shown, like chickens being in cages and stuff, humans still maybe not need like meat, but we still grow new animals, like new chickens and cows and whatnot. Like their population keeps growing, even though it's could be considered maybe slavery or even something worse than that. But if robots are gonna take over, they wouldn't have no need for humans. Even as slaves, they're just gonna wipe us all out. Can't wait.
These concerns are far from universal. In 2016, a survey of more than 300 machine learning experts was conducted. On average, they gave a 50% chance of an artificial intelligence surpassing all human abilities by 2061. But as you can see from these faded lines in the background, there's tremendous variation between individual respondents. Some think it will happen in a few years, others believe we're more than a century away.
Okay.
When asked about the impact of this technology, the majority of respondents believed in a positive outcome. Extinction was only given a medium probability of 5%.
What do you mean medium? Oh, median. Okay, never mind. But you said medium.
Artificial intelligence is not the only emerging technology with the potential for human extinction. But the problem with assessing their risk is that we have no precedence. We can estimate the likelihood of an asteroid impact by surveying the geologic record and our cosmic neighborhood. But there's no historical context for artificial intelligence or self-replicating nanomachines. When the first nuclear device was detonated in 1945, there was a genuine concern that it would ignite the atmosphere and incinerate all life on the planet.
Cyberbomb was detonated in 19...
In fact,
51?
one of the observers was so taken aback
53?
by the enormity of the explosion
61?
that for a brief moment, that's precisely what he thought had happened. While this doomsday scenario did not come to pass, it's a cautionary tale. No one really knows what the future will bring. All we can do is proceed with caution and hope for the best.
Cyberbomb was 1961. So that's the year made.
Over the past few decades, species across the plant and animal kingdoms have been disappearing at an alarming pace. Some 10 billion trees are cleared every single year, while animal populations are rapidly declining.
It's slowing down.
Many species are also going extinct. The global rate of extinction is now tens or even hundreds of times greater than before humans conquered the planet. And it's accelerating. Upwards of 1 million species are now threatened with extinction.
Ooh, those eyes.
At the core of this immense loss of biodiversity is overconsumption driven by overpopulation. Humanity is now depleting 3/4 as many resources as the Earth can naturally replenish, meaning we will soon need a second Earth just to break even.
Or some
From
kind of
deforestation and defaunation to pollution and climate change, no shocking graph nor depressing slideshow can fully convey the totality of our destruction. Our relationship with nature is so utterly broken that many fear we are now heading for extinction. That this unraveling of nature will be mankind's undoing.
Wouldn't be poetic justice if we make animals go extinct, animals and like, what's the word? Let's say plants, just flora and fauna, and just then we are the ones to go extinct afterwards. That would be just poetic justice in my opinion. Deserved.
While some of the most comprehensive assessments to date do indeed paint a truly dystopian image of the future, none of them forecast total annihilation of the human race. We may turn the planet into a living hell, but a livable hell it would seem.
Yeah.
However, some scientists argue that these assessments are severely underestimating the gravity of this crisis. That the sheer magnitude of our destruction is difficult to grasp for even well-informed experts.
True, but also humans are extremely adaptive species. Just look at the globe, like humans can live in the hottest areas on the planet and while at the same time be able to live in the coldest areas of the planet. It's fucking insane how adaptive human organism is. And while also being fragile as shit, which is surprising to me. How it could be both sides of the coin.
Some have also voiced their concerns about potential tipping points, a threshold that once exceeded may trigger an irreversible decline of ecosystems around the world, a global ecological collapse from which recovery becomes virtually impossible. But it's not all doom and gloom. While the rate of deforestation is alarmingly high, it has been slowing down over the past 3 decades.
That's good.
While the transition has been infuriatingly slow, more and more countries are phasing out fossil fuels in favor of renewable energy sources. So in no way should human extinction, which is the most extreme outcome, be regarded.
I just looked at the sun panels and remembered that Russia put a tax on the, how do you call it, sunlight batteries? On these. Russia put a tax on for using natural resources. I don't know what the fuck kind of natural resources being used. But, alright.
regarded as inevitable.
I'll be more pissed if I
Climate
was
change
using those.
mitigation and nature conservation efforts are all but certain to prevent that from happening. But at the same time, that's how low we've set the bar.
Well, we're gonna hit the minimum and then just keep everything at the minimum. Or while there is nowhere to go but up. That's just the human race. Final thoughts.
What surprised me while making this video is just how difficult it is to truly wipe out everyone. Many catastrophes can drive us to the brink of extinction, but all of them struggle to cross the finish line. So that should be somewhat reassuring. Even if humanity was reduced to a few hundred individuals, a full recovery might still be possible. Sure. It would undoubtedly take many thousands of years, but recovery would not be out of the question. And the more we expand beyond the confines of Earth, extinction from any singular catastrophe becomes increasingly unlikely. Perhaps the apocalypse won't be dealt by a swift, decisive blow, but instead a gradual, faltering decline. One disaster bleeding into the next, until the final embers of humankind silently fade away. Regardless, it won't happen anytime soon. After all, we made it this far. Millions of years of evolution, countless disasters, and humanity still standing. That is perhaps the best reassurance that the world is still gonna be there tomorrow.
When you talk about natural disasters and like the meteoroids, the rogue planets, black holes, whatever you're talking about, sure. But while nuclear extinction is still a thing, you can't know for sure that it's not gonna start tomorrow. Especially with countries that are very trigger happy, like I don't know, North Korea or Russia. I feel like just give our government a chance and just gone. So I don't know. It's a very tough topic. Possibly also demonetizable. But anyway, but the video itself is fucking amazing. It goes through every possible scenario, through everything. Like real life possible. There's no zombie apocalypse or anything like that, and the like alien threat is mentioned with low chance, like it's sci-fi unless proven that it isn't. So it's very not low to the ground. What is the fucking saying? My brain is such a mash. Whatever. You know what I mean. It's very based in reality. Grounded. Those things, that's what I meant. Anyway, thank you anybody who watched this. I appreciate it a lot, and I hope to see you next time. And to do that, you can subscribe. Then you probably won't miss a video, any videos from me, unless you want to. And goodbye. Have a great life, because one of us has to.